All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 2024 Youth and Education Committee meeting of Community Board 11. My name is Asher Rodriguez and I'm the chair. This meeting is called to order at 6:36 p.m. We're joined today by Khalid Nixon, our staff liaison to the committee. Before we begin, a couple of ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon, and you'll find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topics of the discussion. Members of the public. If you have a comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. We have a couple members walking in. We're gonna start with a roll call. Billy, could you call the roll, please?
Okay, members, for reference, just want to let you know there are 12 members for this committee and 7 is needed. So 7 is needed for a quorum. David Giordano. Present. John Green. Here. Stanley Johnson. Absent. Joel Jones, I believe, requests excuse.
Yes, please.
Malik McCullough. Absent. Jennifer Meyer.
Present.
Asher Rodriguez.
Present.
Isaac Scott. Present. Russell Schuler. Present. Alita Chikambud. Justina Williams. And Shanique Wolfall.
Here.
Thank you.
I think that's
Yeah,
7.
7.
All right, here we go. All right, so we have quorum, what's it called? We now will adopt the agenda and the minutes. The minutes and the minutes from June's meeting were distributed in advance. And the agenda also was distributed in advance. If there's no objections to agenda or minutes. We can bundle them together, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, if there's no objections to either the minutes or the agenda. All right, seeing no hands, the minutes and the agenda are adopted, and the minutes will be available on the, I think they're already available on the board website.
The draft, and we'll just put the finalized versions.
Yeah. All right, announcements. On September 24th, 2024, CB11 will hold public hearings on statement of district needs and budget requests, fiscal year 2026, resources, prior statements, land use, and also on land use application. Ooh, that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
240385, 240386, so relates to proposed Beacon mixed-use development project. That's a lot of numbers. Oh, I see a hand. Is that Xavier?
That is Xavier, yes.
Yeah, Xavier, you could go. Being muted.
Xavier, can you hear us? You're muted if you're.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to wish everyone a good start to the term, and just wish you all great luck. And here if you need anything. Sorry I couldn't be there. As many of you know, wife's traveling for work, but I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at full board. Want to thank those that came out to the barbecue, and look forward to getting the good work done as we strike into our budget season. So just wanted to wish you all the best, and look forward to seeing you at full board. So thank you, Ash.
All right, thank you, Xavier. I have one announcement that actually was sent to me earlier today. Maggie's Magic Garden on 101st Street is holding a 31st birthday celebration, anniversary celebration for the garden, and they're looking to have youth there. It's located between 100th and 101st in Lexington Avenue. So if anyone was like, it's this Saturday from 10 to 4. So, yeah.
And I also have an announcement. If anybody
Yeah,
else-
go ahead.
So basically, Dr. Ronald McNair Park, there is an event. I'm gonna share the screen right now so they can all see it. Essentially, we need bodies at the event that they're having this Saturday. Let's see here, right, so, we're looking for individuals to basically attend, to join us for this community day at Dr. Ronald E. McNair Playground, meet local organizations, connect with neighbors, talk directly to park staff, and basically to, inject vibrancy into that park. Bring social awareness to it, because there are a lot of public health concerns surrounding that location, and we're looking for community stakeholders to join us on this day, Saturday, September 14th, from 12 to 3 p.m. And this come together as a community. So if possible, we're sharing this flyer in our weekly newsletter, but I can also make sure that a copy is available for you all, and if you can just share it as quickly as possible and get people to come out, that would be really great. And I know, Dr. Christie, we also wanted to make sure you got this flyer to see if you could post it along with the schools, and thank you very much. Okay. That's it for me.
All right. So I think it's now, let me look down. All right, so informational updates, does anyone else have any announcements? I know there's a lot going on this weekend. I just can't remember at the top of my head. No?
No one has a hand raised.
Okay, so we're now gonna go on to our informational updates, and we're gonna start with Dr. Christie, if you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Happy September. I first just want to start with gratitude for everyone who's here, whether it's in person, virtually. Thank you for caring and advocating for our community and just your ongoing advocacy. You make a difference. I hope you know that you make a difference. And so I just really want to start with gratitude. School year has started. I put my email and contact information. Please, if you please either reach out to me directly if you hear of any families or students or anyone in need. I'm happy to say that we had a smooth start to the school year. We do have announcements of 2 interim acting principals. So I just want to share that because we had retirements. So one of them is at PS, and we just made this announcement last night. So this is hot off the press. And so I just wanted to share with you this evening that PS 108 School of Authors, their interim acting principal is Jennifer Tagano. And Jennifer Tagano was the AP there for probably 20 years now. And Dr. Nadine Sinclair is going to be the interacting AP for right now, but the school had a great start. We've met with the staff. Interim acting basically means that we still have to go through the chancellor's regulation or the C30 process. So this is temporary. I can share the links to the surveys. I will after I get off the, once I'm done speaking, I will share the link to the surveys. If you have any input that you would like to give into these, there's 2 positions. The survey asks for what are the qualities we're looking for in a leader? What are the greatest needs of the community? And any additional comments. So feel free to share your input. We leverage that in the hiring process because it's really important to have the best leader in the community. So that's School of Authors. The next school is Lexington Academy, which I know we have a lot of. We have Ash and also I know David Giordano as well. Oh, you're there. I see you. Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, he left. Okay.
No, he's in the corner.
Okay. The interim acting principal officially now is Tammy Rado. Tammy has been a pillar of the community, and I want to also shout out AP Lizzie Rodriguez Rosario, former student of Lexington, educator, assistant principal. They've had an extremely smooth start. All of these schools, it's really, I've been visible. I have visited on multiple occasions just to check in with the leadership, with the staff, and with the community. So those are the 2 schools, both principals retired. And so I want to just be very, messaging is everything. They did not leave because they were upset or not pillars of the community, but they left for retirement. I saw on the previous slide about budgeting. I'm really proud to say as a district, we have had a 10%, like 10.9% enrollment increase across the district, which is a good thing because we did not have to put in any budget appeals. So we had no budget appeals for this upcoming school year. And it's really because we've been able to maintain the number of students that have entered our schools. And we've worked a lot on recruitment and retainment with our children, our families, and I'm really proud of that work. Now, regarding test scores, I just want to own, and I have a CEC meeting tomorrow night, so I am going to have a more formal representation going over some of the preliminary data. On a positive note, which I'm really happy about, we went up in math. So that's positive, right? We had an increase in our state scores in math, and I really want to celebrate the fact that we welcomed over 2,000 families, almost 3,000 families we've welcomed into the district. And so when I say that, they come from all different stories, all different backgrounds, all different educational experiences, and the fact that we would still see an enrollment increase or a student performance increase is really impressive, especially through math. And also we know that in mathematics, students can take the test in their first language, which is helpful, right? So math is one of those tests that our students can take in their home language of preference. Now in ELA, we did see a 3.6 decrease, but as you saw, I'm sure in the media, that's comparable to the city. We do have a plan in place. And also, I'm really proud because we're a phase 2 district. So that's without all the additional support that we're receiving this year for the New York City Reads and the ELA implementation. So I just wanted to share that information. One area that we are working on, and it's been an ongoing issue in our district, even pre-pandemic, is chronic absenteeism and attendance. There's a lot of mindset shift work that we have to do. And I'll give you an example. How many people think that 90% is good? Right? 90%. Most of us have been socialized to think that 90% is an A, right? Well, in New York City, if you have 90% attendance, you're going to be chronically absent. Hard to believe, right? Because 90% means you've missed 18 days of school. 10% of 180 is 18 days. And if you miss 18 school days in New York City, you are considered chronically absent. And so I say that because sometimes when we see some of the numbers, we're like, oh my gosh, how can the district have 50% of the district is chronically absent? Well, now you know that you could have 90% attendance and be chronically absent. So I just wanted to share that. Another part of our strategic plan, which I'll go over a little bit more tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have the state of the district in October, is that our team, our D4 team, so the team that I supervise has been expanded. So when I started out as a superintendent, I had about 4 people on my team. Now I have 30 people on my team. And last year I had 20 people on my team. So my new members on my team, I have 5 members who are teacher assigned positions. So they're actually providing job embedded support inside the schools. And I have 2 teachers who are actually working with small groups of students. And then I also have 5 attendance teachers that I'm actually supervising and aligning their schools with the needs in the community. And so really excited for the upcoming school year. I know I'm supposed to just provide an update. I'm probably providing too much information, but hopefully I'll see some of you either tomorrow. We do have our big welcome back to school event on September 21st. Special thanks to Community Board 11. I know David a lot of times helps our district with DJing and so much more. And Last but not least, and I will invite the Community Board 11 because you have been extremely supportive of this initiative. Our pool is up and running. So the pool in the 45 building, it's maintained. It's now we have the heating valve, so it's going to be at the temperature of 80 degrees. That's the temperature of the water. And we're starting this month. This September, we're starting with waterproofing swim classes for our students and the community. The ribbon cutting ceremony is going to be scheduled for October. I will share the date as soon as we have a date with the mayor and the chancellor. But I just wanted to share the good news, and I have to acknowledge, I see Xavier is here, but Xavier, I can't even remember when we visited the site together. Just to let you know, we had an earthquake back in 2011. And when we had that earthquake in New York City, that's what caused the crack in the pool in the 45 building, which is on 120th Street and First Avenue, which is where River East Elementary is located. A lot of people in the community call it the 45 building. Anyway, I say all of this, we were able to get it repaired, and it's really through everyone's advocacy. And so I really just want to thank everyone, and the fact that we have Asphalt Green partnering with us. We offer this to all of our D4 schools to have classes. Some of our schools have more than one class. And the long-term plan is that we will have not only waterproofing, lifeguard certification, competitions. The pool is in competition size, and it's going to be a great opportunity for the community. Xavier, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Xavier could go.
Yeah, that is a throwback, but also a testament of, for everyone who's new on this committee and for those that already know, the work we do with our partnership and our agencies and our leaders across the board, whether it's city, state, or federal. It takes that amount of time to move mountains for our youth, for our community, and thank you. That just yeah, it reminds me of how much hair I've lost. So with that, I look forward to that ribbon cutting. Thank you. But everyone, bear in mind, when we do this work, it can take sometimes a decade or more to come to fruition. So thank you. And I look forward, hopefully drag some members of this committee out.
Yes, definitely. And I will definitely share that information. And again, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you. I mean, could go on and on. As a community, we're getting more, our facilities are getting upgrades. Tito Puente campus, the auditorium is now air conditioned. We had our summer rising graduation there, and I just want to thank Community Board 11 for continuing to support us as a district, whether it's facility upgrades, supporting our events, and or I know Asher, thank you for coming to our meetings and supporting us. I could thank each and every single one of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Xavier, for acknowledging that sometimes we don't see it immediately, but your efforts really do matter, and I really appreciate everyone on this call. And I did put in my information. Really, really excited for this upcoming year. And yeah, great things to happen. So our accessibility, we have, these are the projects that are putting in elevators in our buildings so that they can be truly accessible. The 112-206 building is in construction. The 57 building is in construction. And the 155-377 building, those three buildings are part of the accessibility of getting elevators put into place. And yeah, I could go on and on, but there's a lot of great things. So thank you. Oh, and then for successes, our graduation rates went up 10%, which is wonderful. Regent scores, I was actually just going through this data. Our Regent scores for chemistry, we went up 11.1%, global history 15%, algebra 2 8%. So we saw a lot of gains. And then also EPA Esperanza is going to, it has the magnet grant, which is a 5-year grant, where the goal is by the end of the 5 years, all students who go to EPA can either graduate with an associate's degree or a certification of a trade or skill to have that economic security that we want all of our young people to have access to. So great things happening.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Christie.
you.
Hi, Dr. Kristen David. I just want to also acknowledge both principals, Dr. Hernandez from 72, who's dear to my heart, but also Principal Bill from 108. And I say Principal Bill with a DMN because that's how the kids refer to him. Both of them have been fierce advocates, have been coming to this community committee for a couple of years. We have supported many of the projects. 108 is going to get a new park on the work that's been done with both this committee and the Parks and Recreation Committee, Open Space and Parks and Recreation. So we continue to look forward to advocating and getting other principals in here to work on other projects in the school and support them. I know 72, we getting those doors finally, and we're gonna get air conditioning out here in the auditorium, so nice.
Where we are.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. It still takes a while. And also, I also want to acknowledge that we also over this year received funding through Assemblyman Gibbs to work on putting in a basketball court. We were trying to do it through Children's Aid. Unfortunately, since it's DOE, we still got to go through School Construction Authority. So it might take a little longer, but we're going to get a new outdoor basketball court as well with the advocacy of the principals that were previously in this community and worked so hard for their kids. And totally different schools, had different populations of kids, but address the needs of kids and their services in the ways that kids need it most for education. So I will miss both principals dearly, and Dr. Hernandez will always be my brother from another mother, as he referred to it. So thank you, and your work with them as well, Dr. Christie.
No, thank you. And because you mentioned it, the 108 has the SOA News. If you haven't seen they have an actual like green screen where they broadcast like a news station.
Yes.
And the Assembly member Eddie Gibbs has offered to give them funding to turn this room into an actual true media room. And so
Great.
he was just there this week actually visiting the school to check out the room and so forth. So again, thank you. Can't wait for all of these renovations. The other thing too, if you haven't checked out, the gym is going to be done by next week for Esperanza at the Tito Puente campus, but they now have a state-of-the-art fitness center. So behind the gym, and I even had a physical therapist like check it out, the equipment that they have, state-of-the-art fitness center. Our students are already using it, loving it, and highly recommend that if we want to visit some of the buildings and spaces to see these upgrades firsthand, because it's really quite impressive to see the facility upgrades. And I truly do believe it's because of all of our collective efforts. We are determined to get 72 air conditioned as well.
Please.
No, because it's for summer rising. We were prioritizing our summer rising sites. And it's really, really hot in those spaces. And we do have air conditioning. I just want to clarify for anyone who doesn't know the DOE or the New York City Public Schools protocol. Our classrooms are air conditioned. It's the public spaces. So it means like cafeteria, auditorium, gymnasiums, they're not always air conditioned. So it's been a project working with principals and facilities. How do we use Moneymaker or RESOA grants? How can we get the funding to get these spaces air conditioned? So little by little, we've been doing it year after year, one space at a time, right? So like Tito Puente now has an auditorium that's air conditioned. 007 now has a cafeteria that's air conditioned. And so working on that little by little.
Thank you. We appreciate you too, Dr. Christie.
Yeah, we appreciate the emphasis as someone who was in there this summer. I appreciate it. Yeah, and also just quickly, Dr. Hernandez was my principal when I was growing up, and I remember Ms. Rada was the dean when I was there, and now she's interim principal, so that's crazy to me. So yeah, and also working with Ms. Tagano over the summer. She was awesome, so.
Yeah, they're all very committed. They've been in the District 4 community much longer than I have, and so their love and commitment for the community is palpable. I do want to say this is top secret. You can also email Tammy Rado or myself. I can connect you to Tammy. But Principal Dr. Hernandez, they are having a surprise retirement party for him.
He knows
If you're
about it.
interested in, huh? You think he knows about it?
Of course he knows about it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it's
Well, let me
October
finish.
12th. If people are interested, connect with Tammy or Nancy, because they're having it in Maestro's in the Bronx. That's where they're having it, as a retirement party, and one of his friends is organizing it.
Very good. We will be there.
Okay.
He's gonna run. All right, so next up, thank you, Dr. Christie. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Christie? All right, seeing no questions, we're gonna go, thank you, Dr. Christie. We're gonna go now to the CEC. Is not Rosa, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Soto Cardinal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry, Elizabeth, Rosa's usually in the room to give the update.
Elizabeth is transferring over as panelist right now.
Hello, can you hear me?
We hear you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Elizabeth Soto Cardona here. Well, the only update I have is we're having our meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. If anyone can join us, you can join us via Zoom or in person at 109th Street, Tito Puente School. Yeah, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak here.
All right, just for those of us who aren't familiar, Elizabeth is the president of the CEC currently, so I have her email and contact information if anyone would like to contact her. Thank you, Elizabeth. Next up, do we have anyone here from CEC 5? Wait, I think I saw email, Fred Walker.
Fred would have showed
Yeah,
up, but he had
okay,
a.
so yeah. Unfortunately, our contact from CEC 5 was gonna be here, but he had a prior commitment. So now we're just gonna go over that, and is there anyone here from the district attorney's office? I knew that was gonna be.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. Hi, so my name is Tayari Hurd. I'm so happy to meet you all. I am an education coordinator at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and I work in the Community Partnerships Unit. So I'm not an attorney, but a coordinator. And within our unit, we work to increase trust between the community and law enforcement, provide awareness to public safety concerns, create partnerships to strategically prevent crime, and lastly, provide access to the resources of our office. So speaking of some of those resources, we have a plethora of presentations that we provide. So if you wanted us to come to a school, community-based organization, or even one of these meetings, which we've done before, to give a presentation on something like a public safety topic like internet safety or child abuse, or just the arrest and disposition process, or the difference between the DA and other juvenile systems, we do that often. I personally coordinate those presentations, and we would love to increase our presence in East Harlem. We also have a high school internship program and other things. So over the summer, I want to be brief because I have a bit. We had a new class of about 77 rookie attorneys that joined the office. So they're currently going through a rigorous training program within our legal training unit. We also had 30 high school interns that came from all over, and they were housed within our unit for 5 weeks. They were paid. It was an incredible program. We had 26 college interns that were stationed all over the office. We also had about 12 law fellows and then 4 gun violence prevention fellows that were in the office. I will also like to share a bit about our gun violence prevention grants that were given out. So for the 3rd consecutive summer, the office awarded $20,000 to CBOs to pay young New Yorkers stipends to participate in meaningful programming and enhance and beautify public spaces that are known for gun violence. So 8 community-based organizations were selected. Here in East Harlem, Not Another Child within Jefferson Houses was awarded. PAL in Central Harlem was, Street Corner Resources in West Harlem was, and so was Uplift NYC and some other organizations. The full press release is on our website, and I can send the link to that. But since the launch of this initiative, shootings have been driven down by nearly 40% in Manhattan through targeted prosecutions and strategic community investments. You know, there's a whole bunch of contributing factors, but that is the stat that we like to share. So, and I'll end with this. This Friday, we have a Youth on the Plaza Day event. It's going to be held on the Adam Clayton Powell Plaza, right there in Harlem. It's going to be at 2:30 to 6, and it's a back to school event, so there'll be lots of resources and things for the youth, and I'll make sure I share that flyer, so hopefully you can just pass that around a bit. But I'm so happy to be here, and I will be here throughout the year, so I'm happy to talk about anything public safety related. I also want to get into the habit of sharing like indictments and things like that, and just whatever you guys are interested in. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys. You guys are so awesome.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you. Can you repeat your name for the record again? Because it was kind of cut off.
Yes, Tyari. Yes, it rhymes with safari. So I told people.
And your last name also, please?
Yes, Tyari Hurd.
All right.
H-E-A-R-D. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Anyone have any questions for Tayari or comments?
I'll just add, I'm David Giordano, I'm with Children's Aid Society. So we're collaborating with Frederick Douglass on that particular grant you just mentioned, and we're working on having kids out there on Friday. So kudos to that grant. We were down when the DA gave the award down at Grant Street Settlement. So again, kudos to that particular grant and award, and it does have a positive effect in the community.
Thank you so much.
I see a hand. Still, I cannot see whose hand that is.
Stephanie Thompson. Hi, Stephanie, you can go ahead.
Hi, good night, everybody. So I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Tahari, right? I know you said it rhymes with
Tyari.
Tyari. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
No, it's important to get the unique names correct, okay? My question to you is, and I know Christy is here, and Christy can tell you I asked about this last year at the CEC meetings. My concern is the shootings that are happening during the day in between the developments and the schools. So as you know, the way our schools lay out is the yards are usually in between, not usually, some of the schools in District 4 schoolyards are in between the public housing developments. I just wanted to know if you had any knowledge of what plan is in place to keep the students safe. I'm aware of what the district is doing on their end as far as the lockdowns and cohesively working with PSA 5 and the police departments in the community. But from the DA standpoint, what are they doing to kind of, I want to say, enforce to make sure it's not happening, but also keeping the students safe?
Yes, that's a really, really good question. And I don't have anything specific to share about that particular area, but I would love to get your information because this is a conversation that we would love to escalate and just have something strategic happen afterwards. So it would be great if we could meet sometime like next week to just talk about this specific concern because it's something that we have the tools to maybe do something about. If there's not
wonderful. I'll try and pass. I'll text Asher. If Asher, is that okay? Can you forward my info to her?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank you.
What was your name? I'm sorry.
I'm Stephanie Thompson.
Okay. Thank you. And Asher, I'll connect with you. And if you could put something in the chat
I can't, it's a
Okay.
webinar, which I want to just
Okay,
say
I
really fast. I hate webinars.
Yeah, I understand. Okay,
I
but
feel
I'll be sure to
it's such a
connect.
one-sided thing on this side. Like I can't say hi, I can't do anything.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll be sure to connect with you. And thank you so much for bringing it up because that's so important.
Alright, that's Stephanie's hand gone now. Alright,
Yes.
anyone else have any questions for, Tayari?
All right, I do have something really brief. Tari, are you aware if the DA's office is maybe involved with the New York Academy of Medicine? They just published, or at least last year, they published their survey or at least their research results on youth perceptions on gun violence and, you know, their impact in terms of their attendance and their perceptions of safety in the neighborhood. Are you by any chance, or at least do you know if the DA's office is by any chance working with them?
No, I don't.
Okay, then
We
no.
have been working with New Yorkers Against Gun Violence, and they recently worked with, I mean, in the past few years, the CJI on a
Okay.
report. And this is not the same report, right?
No, it's
No.
different.
Yeah, so I would definitely love that information, and I think
Okay, then I'll try to make the connection tomorrow because it is something that we're gonna be discussing for the agenda later this evening.
Okay.
We do intend to do a panel discussion in October, and if the DA's office is, you know, interested in maybe helping them out and participating, I'll definitely try to connect both of you, okay?
we would love to participate and help out with anything. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions for the district attorney's office? Alright, seeing no further questions, thank you for coming and looking forward to working with you, Tayari. Alright, any youth and education advocacy groups? Alright. Alright, I don't see any hands. So we're now gonna go into our presentations and discussions. So, well, David, maybe you wanna talk about what they did over the summer with Mitch? No, okay. Alright. So since I brought it up, quickly, at Children's Day, David's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, my brother was a part of this. They went to DC, which they have been going for the past few years to talk about, gun violence within East Harlem. They have created a few models and stuff, and they got funding from the district attorney's office it's like an internship basically, right?
That was the grant.
Yeah. It was like an internship for high school students to talk about gun violence in the community, and they have, for the past like few years now, I think ever since I was in high school, they have done murals of these like basically each kid gets one box and they color it, and it makes a person's face who has either been a victim of gun violence or police brutality, and we have some hanging outside of the PS72 building. They did,
And each square, a kid has to then put a 6-word memoir.
Yeah.
How what relates to the topic or gun violence or youth violence that they experience.
yeah, the most recent one they did was for, I do not wanna say her name wrong. It was for the young person who was killed on 116th Street a few years ago in the Burger King. So,
A street corner naming after her.
yeah, so they did it with the street corner, and it was her face that they turned into a beautiful mural, so, yeah. So that's just some of the stuff that they've been doing for a few years.
And they won a national award from Boys and Girls Clubs. So the Children's Aid Society, we have 6 Boys and Girls Clubs in Harlem and East Harlem. And they work together and they attend conferences. And where kids really go to Washington and meet with elected officials and do advocacy work, and that's some of the work. Ash was one of those young people that also did advocacy work prior to joining the board during being a youth on the board. Now Ash is an adult.
Okay. Yeah, and now my younger brother is doing it, so it's cool. So seeing no other youth advocacy groups, so I wanna start off just with introductions because we were supposed to have a lot of new members. So if everyone could just I know this is corny doing like introductions, and icebreakers, but if everyone could just go around the room and say their name and what they're looking forward to doing on this committee this year. It could be advocating for the community, it could be something specific, be as broad as or as specific as you want. So I'm gonna start with David and then go around this way.
I think my goal for this year is to continue to play less of a role and allow you to take the leadership.
Okay. Isaac,
Isaac Scott, I think my goal for this year is to connect more of the work I'm already doing with young people around the corner at another choice in Mount Zion with the youth and education committee, so that we can share a lot of resources to be able to work on that cohesively. Sounds good. We get it.
Hey everyone, I'm Shawnee Bulldog. I founded a nonprofit for Art in the Park. So I'm here to learn more, right? And meet more like-minded individuals for the work that I've already been doing and so to learn more. So thank you.
I'm Russell Schuler, and this year I would like to see us expand our involvement with more schools in the district.
Hi, I'm Jen. This year I would like for us to maybe do some more collaboration with Human Services Committee. So Isaac is chair and I'm co-chair Human Services. I think we have a lot of overlap and can combine our efforts for good.
John Gray to piggyback on what these two said, basically outreach. The thing is that if we reach out to other organizations and help them in any way possible, I think that'll be a great thing for the committee to do.
hi, I'm Ash. My goal this year is just to, like everyone has said, expand a lot more within the community. Cause I personally feel like I get stuck on like the one block that I'm usually on, so I would like to reach out to more schools within the community. Especially charters and stuff like that, cause we do have a lot of charters in our district and a lot of our kids are going to charters. So I want to work with those schools also, so yeah.
Just to add, with the charter schools, my wife works for Urban Dove has just expanded, and that's a new school in East Harlem. They open in Taino Towers, so their first day is this Monday, and they're off to a good start.
My mom works for Harlem Village Academies in the River East building, so you think about that, there's like 2 schools in the building and they're serving the same kids within the community, so, yeah.
And I'm just gonna piggyback because Art in the Park is in a charter school as well, 2 days out the week teaching art. So they're on 115th Pleasant and First Avenue. So that's great to hear that you want to expand to charters.
Okay, so guys, just wanna reiterate the goals, section. Essentially, Angel has requested that the committee come up with at least 3 goals by October. So I just wanna try to combine what you all are saying, so expand outreach to.
Yeah, we should
Maybe
also
not
look
just-
at what we had as the goals from last year and are any of them overlapping these, some we continue or not.
From what I remember, we basically said a lot of what was already there.
Advocacy was a big.
Yeah, I think not just say expand to charter schools, just say to all schools within East Harlem.
I think one area also like north of 125th. I feel like gets
Yeah.
left out of a lot, but we do have. Part of it.
Holly would say yes. We always leave that part out.
I used to live on 131st. and everyone forgot that it was-
So you wanna expand?
Goes up to 147, so.
Yeah.
You guys wanna expand, we go up to like 140.
Oh,
Yeah.
140
something,
I think it is.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, yes, definitely.
Our southern border.
That was up.
is 86.
As
Yeah.
long as you're east of Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, from 96 up, it's.
It's all the way, okay.
So expand outreach to educational facilities in East Harlem.
Yes.
What other, cause I would like to at least write down 3 and not get in trouble. So.
Yeah, I think we need to visit schools.
And then you can come up with your like actual actionable goals for this year by October. It's just So you're looking,
I think also visit schools like David said, because the CEC does do these walkthroughs, and Dr. Christie has invited us to them and stuff. I think it's just good for the schools
yes.
to know about their multiple sources, especially when we're in budget season. So, and we're not gonna be in budget season for long, but thinking for the future. So these schools know to come to us earlier before we do budget stuff, and I think that we need to also work on our budget stuff, because we have submitted the same stuff year after year a little bit, and now a lot of them are getting funded, which it was good at the time to push the same things, but there's needs in our community that need to be highlighted and stuff, so like, I don't even think the air conditioning and common spaces we put on there last year.
Well,
I have to
again,
double check.
what we've learned over the years is when you advocate too broadly, you get nothing. When you advocate too specifically, you might just get that. So you have to be strategic, and that's why having principals come here, presenting about their schools, letting kids more importantly come to the schools. Because I have to tell you, what 108 did, as Dr. Christie talked about, they have this whole thing where they're a newsroom and flash back and forth, like they're actually running a news cast of different information. And that's what they did when they presented here, not in this committee, but in open space and parks.
Yeah.
So again, I think getting more principals and developing that relationship, I think combining when CEC goes, we're now visiting with a group of parents that are representatives as well. And then we might see greater things being with that group as well, so.
Especially for those of us who are in certain schools day to day, it's important for the other schools to know that we like see them also.
I have a different appreciation for being in the school building now for 6 years.
Yeah.
The principals and what they have to endure. But yes,
Just two quick things. Sorry, I have to leave in a few minutes. I just wanna make that. I'm happy to put like a list together like I did for human services, like I can't get it done by next month, but like throughout the year, if we want like a list so that we don't forget like our different things that we're working on. And also for one of the goals, I don't know if other people agree, but I think I like having more of a focus on adult education as well, since we are youth
Yeah.
and education, so.
Yeah, especially, I know me personally going to in the community system now, I'm like, yeah, we need to.
it's one of those things, about 2 years ago, we did a lot more, Jen, and we invited a lot more of those adult education programs in the community that supported specific and targeted populations. So yes, it's one of those things, but that we sometimes get lost in the youth.
Yeah.
And forget that education is not just for the youth in our community, but for adults and others as well, so.
So far I have, oh, sorry, Isaac, go ahead. No, I think I was gonna say around the same thing. It sounds like outreach, but with these specific areas of outreach, and one is, adult education. Which, yeah, the other one is like just connecting with community-based organizations.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, also after.
And then after programs and such.
And I actually was gonna say maybe taking it a step further to combine youth and family type of workshops. And so everybody's getting educated at almost the same time, so you have kids,
Intergeneration.
yeah,
Because
so you have your older and your younger, and then.
The work is youth and families,
Right.
because that's where a lot of the issues we hear from young people be coming right out and doing their home.
Right.
And, you know, either being very comfortable at home or very
Uncomfortable, yes.
You know what I mean? And that was leading to everything else.
Well, like where we overlapped with open space and parks and we've done the Earth Day event with youth. You know, maybe we also combine, look at doing something more intergenerational with youth and adults, combined with human services. Again, a lot of the issues that you learn do overlap, you know, and even housing, right? You have your population of senior housing and, you know, special population housing, but maybe we can look at, since there's so many of you, you know, that overlap.
One of the goals that I have had personally, and I don't know if anyone else would agree with me, is it's been awesome, like pairing up with the parks for the event, but I want for us to at some point plan our own event as a committee that it's so. Like one of the number one things you hear when you talk to people in the community is education, youth and education. And since we're one of those upfront committees that are in people's minds. I don't even know what type of event, that's why I said sometime within the next 2 years, let's plan our own event. Own community outreach, and by going to the schools and talking to people, we could get a sense of what people want for an event.
I like the idea of the event, because, we're gonna do an addiction forum with human services, and it would be ideal if we could do something annually, that would probably require us getting more partners so that we can be able to have access to more resources in this space for people. So it's not just like a forum, but it's actually a resource space for people. But I think doing something similar with the community, I think it all comes down to like different ways we can advocate for the different goals we have for the community. You know what I mean? 'Cause everything is not gonna be pushed through in October. So it's like, other than that, if that's the only way we feel like we advocate, then it's just very limited. So we have a lot more options. You know, Jen highlighted this as well too. Some things can become agenda items where we just invite certain people in to, really just wrestle with the issue with us, but we then be able to, address it through that presentation or however, but just laying out, maybe the list of all of the things we do want to cover may be helpful. So we can kind of see it and then decide on what's a budget priority versus like an agenda thing. I feel like I'm gonna do this like that.
No, I think there's so many places to go, because I'm even
Did you get
thinking.
something out of this?
I'm not sure you guys have that.
We'll keep going.
I'm saying we're just like yapping and.
Well, again, tying into the grant that the DA just gave, right, and not another child, all these other groups that did receive money, why are we not inviting them in also?
Right.
And one of the things that was interesting, doing those kind of events where, a child was lost, you have intergenerational people affected, right? You have a parent, grandparent, you have other children. And maybe we do something around healing. The event the DA's office always does was always got later and later to the end of June when nobody's around. And the impact is when people healing.
So, I think this is good what we got, so. I'm gonna look at whatever Khalid's gonna share with whatever, the notes he took, and I have some notes here. And we have to vote on this, finalize it in October,
At least 3 reasonable goals for this year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Achievable goals.
Smart.
Right.
Small goals, because we have had in the past the longest,
So,
yeah.
Okay, the goals are just goals for the year. Are we looking to make any adjustments to any of the priorities we already put up or?
Well, that's the next step, right?
That's the next thing, we still have to work on that mission statement but the goals are just like stuff, like a checklist that we could keep us accountable with during the year. So I think like the idea of going to the schools.
Those are simple.
Those are simple things that could get done. Dr. Christie has told us multiple times and times again that she will bring us to the schools if we want and set that up, so.
Strengthening your collaboration with the human services, that's already right there, it's on the goal, so you can.
Basically, half of this people in the room right now are in human services
I
are.
think help with outreach to adult education and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a bad.
Like adult education,
That one, right,
The right one.
you used the right one, yeah.
It's like,
That's the thing about, the only thing about adult education is. All we have here is Hunter, so it's more like opening resources for people to know where to go for adult education support. Is that more like what we're going?
No, not really.
Because we don't necessarily have buildings in here.
No, you have GED programs, so you have YAYB, which is for older, younger people.
You have trade programs.
Yeah, you got it.
It's
And those are the ones that present.
Do we have YABC?
Youth Action Bill.
Youth Action Bill.
They give us flyers every now and then. I don't know their location though.
They
Right, let me take a second.
Okay.
they may have right before you've been out 2 years.
Karim was on the board, the committee last year. Yeah, he was that's
Yeah.
before.
Okay, all right. So,
Okay. So I'm gonna, we'll finalize it in October. Alright. So now we're gonna go to the, everyone's favorite part, district needs and budget requests.
We can pull it up here, Rick, 'cause I don't have the last.
Yes, I
can't read it.
Want me to go over the survey results, or you want me to go over the budget requests?
Let's start with the survey results, that way we know what we're looking at.
Well, what the community thinks. right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it starts.
There's no point in us looking and revising anything and then read the survey and we have to change completely. Bye, Jen.
Okay, so, I make sure you all have the link, we have a total of 74 responses to date. You can see, of course, the, 3 pressing issues in the district, being affordable crime and public safety, affordable housing, and quality of life issues, followed by trash and removal. So these are the focuses. There is a youth element for crime and public safety, you all know, especially as we're going to discuss later.
Quick question. What's the age group that people can fill this out? Anyone of any age?
Anybody can fill this out.
Okay, so maybe, cause if we're thinking it's a lot of adults filling stuff out,
That's why I was saying yesterday, that's why I emailed you and said share the thing, because if not, you're gonna have the same people filling this out. And we already know who's like waiting for it.
So this is actually given out by DCP, and they give, you know, the generic, their survey structure. They don't provide us with the demographics for the people that fill them out, and I don't even think they collect that data.
well, I'll be straight up, we all know it's probably adults.
Probably, yeah, do not anticipate children filling this thing out at all.
And you can see the language, sorry.
Yeah, no,
You see the language of who's writing, so you can tell it's not young people.
Right, exactly. So, and that is a issue that we've had with, you know, letting DCP resume control over the survey. We don't know who's taking it, and, you know, we're not a part of, I mean, we can, of course, when we're tabling and so forth, give everyone the QR code to take the survey, but you can't force them to. And, we don't know who does it, and you can also see the completion rate. 14 of them are partially complete, so, you know, that impacts the 70, and that's only 75 responses out of 110,000 people that live in this district. So, you know, you have to consider all of these things, but, I'll make sure you guys have the link, I'll send that.
Right. And now it's about 17.
I'm sorry, say that, oh, you go my mobile numbers. So just basically for this committee, I think we want to focus on, section 6 and 7. Youth education and child welfare issues. Most prominent issue being juvenile justice and services for at-risk youth, followed by after-school programs, as we just mentioned, and then I think there might be a tie somewhere here.
Thing is with after school programs, that's so broad. Like, yeah, there's a need for after school programs, but David and I have said time and time again, we have siblings of some of the kids in our program who are younger. Cause most after school programs are kindergarten through 8th grade, maybe even kindergarten through 5th sometimes, so it's more like the younger, the preschool age, which is a different certification and stuff like that.
And adolescents.
But we've noticed a lot of the Head Start, like a lot of people, the like 3K seats are not getting filled up because like Dr. Christie, when she presented last year, there's a vacancy, there's a lot of vacancies because parents need full day care.
Right, you could send your 5-year-old in kindergarten to after school, but you can't send your 4-year-old in pre-K that's in the same school to the after school.
Yeah.
And Dr. Christie has been working to try to secure that.
Yeah.
But again, I think as Ash acknowledged, there's different regulations that require different ratios and a whole bunch of other things.
And that ends up affecting the older kids, like the attendance with that, because you see parents are coming to pick up one kid. So they're just gonna pick up the other one at the same time. So it's, yeah. Or they just won't enroll them in 3K at all, they'll put them in private school because they end up spending less on private school than keeping your kid in the public school. And you have to pay for childcare after 3. But Dr. Christie, were you gonna say something? Was that her? I saw someone unmute.
Oh, sorry, I think it's Stephanie has her hand up.
Oh,
I
Stephanie.
just keep putting comments in the chat because I don't know if I'm supposed to speak or not, so.
You can raise your hand. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest with you, I cannot see the chat at all.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the back of my head the whole time.
Stephanie, you had your hand up. I don't want to skip you.
Stephanie, you could go.
Happy to be back? Yeah.
Hello?
I had a good time, but.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
That was good.
Hello?
We can hear you,
fine, yeah.
Stephanie. We can hear
Oh,
you.
okay, okay, perfect. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
So going back to the chat, because you put mad stuff in the chat and then you like disappeared. My first question is about the pool. I didn't realize that the charter school and the D4 students would be using it. How did you guys like come up with the schedule for that?
Yeah.
I cannot hear.
Sorry, Stephanie, there was a lot of background noise in your environment. Can you repeat that question first, please?
Okay.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Are
of
you
course.
off to the debate?
I don't,
Okay.
Right?
I don't do things like that.
I don't know. Y'all saying it's background noise on my end, but it's on y'all end actually.
Yeah, you should. You might as well.
You might be seeing Zoom not muted.
No,
Yeah.
she's the.
I'm
She's
like,
on
I love
unmuted.
Might be Tyari?
I like
It was Tyari.
Alright.
Sorry, Stephanie, please,
go.
go ahead, please.
I'm
Sorry about
like, ain't no noise over here. Everybody is getting ready for bed. There's school tomorrow.
Who's yelling?
No, I was so confused too. All right, my first question was about the pool. I was saying that I didn't realize that the charter and the D4 schools would be using the pool. I was asking, how did you guys come up with the scheduling for that?
Yeah, so thank you, Stephanie, for asking that question. When I said charter, only the charter school that's inside of it. So the 45 building actually has River East and there's a Harlem Village Academy inside that, in that space.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be clear that we weren't saying to, we don't want to have a school building and say that we're not allowing the other, only one school within there.
I mean, but who paid for the pool?
The school facilities, but I just want to say that this is another thing that even with school facilities, that we only offered it to the school that's inside of there.
Okay.
And so I just want to be clear, just for the students that are inside that building, and then it was opened up and prioritized for all of our D4 public schools.
I understand.
So I just wanted
Sorry to interrupt, but we are currently on the survey and stuff like that.
Right.
So if this could possibly be taken over email or tomorrow at the CC meeting, since I know you both usually are there. It's just I'm trying to be respectful of the members' time, so
Absolutely.
we all get
Okay.
my reasonable hour.
We'll just
Yeah,
make
no.
sure they have each other's contact info, or
They
already
do.
they do. Okay,
Stephanie,
perfect.
I think we have each other's number. I can fill you in more about the pool.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just I'm trying to keep this as efficient as possible.
Okay, so with the survey results, just make sure you all have access to it, so you can just look at, it's just sections 6 and 7, which has the further clarifying reasons for why they selected it. And you'll just consider that in the crafting of the new budget requests for fiscal year 2026. So I make sure you all have access to this, specific youth and education budget request tracker. You'll see that these are the requests that were made and the reasons. You can focus on the second sheet of this document.
I was about to say, can we see which ones were accepted so we could just get rid of those?
Sure.
Okay. Well, and sometimes that's not always so simple. You should, because even though some was accepted, sometimes they say in part.
Right, they do. Right.
And we want to know, well, what part and what part not, right? So we want further clarification.
Correct, okay.
Well, the staff already put which ones they think we should revise and remove. I guess
These are just our suggestions.
Well, I'm saying, let's go through it.
Go ahead, just read that, because I can't see anything.
I can't see it, I have glasses.
I'll go through it for you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so your first request funding must be allocated to fully complete necessary wiring upgrades at PS 146 and M Short. The response from the agency DOE supports the agency's position as follows, please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information.
That's their favorite response.
Right, exactly. So, it does say DOE, but,
So that really should be probably school construction authority.
right.
And we should reach out to them. They haven't been here for a while.
No, they haven't.
Sorry, Chair, but, and ask them to present. And also we try to align some of these needs with the CEC needs when the DOE needs for the district that the CEC also supports.
Yes. So when it comes to these infrastructure related requests, like additional funding required to complete repairs at DOE building M37, please contact the agency. Not necessarily to remove the request, but to revise it and get in contact with school construction authority for more complete.
I
And
think also
rather
get in
than
contact with the school to know exactly, to get very specific about the repairs, or maybe look in the minutes from, did they ever come and present to us? They did. So I think this is one we've had for a while, so maybe following up with the school and see if we could find out what exactly they need. Cause we have to get very, very specific. Yeah.
And like Dr. Christie says, it's little by little that they chip away at these things.
Yeah.
Can I just offer that if you don't get, because we've had like changes, sometimes if you need to include me in those emails to the school leaders, please feel free to do so, because sometimes I can get responses faster from the school construction authority. Because there's two different entities. There's the Division of School Facilities, and
Yes.
that's Michael Siciliano, and then there's school construction. And so there is a difference between the two entities. However, sometimes if I'm involved, I can get a faster response about the update. So I just want to offer that if you
We
can't
agree,
get,
Dr. Christie, because
Okay.
we know sometimes we go to one, they tell us to go to the other.
yes.
We gotta know who to go to, so we'll definitely reach out. Yes, circles. Much appreciated, Dr. Christie.
The next one, anyone can stop me if you think I'm going too fast, because I know that there's new members in the room.
No, we appreciate the board staff
Yeah.
doing some pre-work with this.
The next one is the playground at PS 108, which we mentioned was fully funded and it is in the design phase, so I suggest we drop that. If anyone has any.
No,
comments?
it's
No?
moving along. It's gonna take 2 years, but it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
It's nice when we can remove things because they get it done.
Okay, next one, funding should be allocated to provide a full renovation of River East Playground. OMB supports the uses of the Department of Parks and Recreation does not maintain this facility, so we need to revise this.
But
So,
that-
Did Espaillat,
but
is this the
we-
one, Espaillat
right, we,
supported the playground?
I'd have to check in because actually.
I'm pretty sure two things. I'm pretty sure Espaillat gave them the funding for it.
Okay,
That's number one. Number two, Parks does maintain that, because I remember when they came to the Parks Committee, we asked if Parks if they maintain it, and they said yes.
right, which is weird why they said that on the response, because Zola does say that it's the Parks.
Yes.
Only. So I don't
Yeah.
know why they say that, but if we can confirm that Espaillat is going to fund this,
Or in part, right? We should find out what's the
How
total
much, yeah.
cost and then how much. I
okay,
think it was 900. I don't remember exactly offhand, but
so we can revise, confirm.
confirm amount allocated cost and then committed allocation.
Committee, yes.
I would also suggest for new members that have not been part of this process, Jessica, who's now chairing the committee for the budget needs, is gonna do a review of the budget needs, and so it's good as a refresher. I am now on the budget needs.
That was your,
Revise, confirm amount, committed.
I know you did ask the right questions.
To compliment her budget trip also, let's go over.
Okay, you can say that.
Next one, Funding must be allocated to fully upgrade the bathrooms at Lexington Academy located at 131 East North Fourth Street. Please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information.
In that school, half of them have been renovated, but the problem,
Bathrooms?
yeah, but I think if we wanna get specific, the ones on the second floor desperately need to be fixed, cause those are the younger kids ones. Those are the younger kid ones, and those break quite literally every other week.
So two years ago, 2 summers ago, they did fix. The
Cafeteria,
cafeteria, which are the largest bathrooms, but not any of the others.
yeah, I might be biased.
So it's more revised than removed.
Sure, so how
It's
about,
also the staff bathrooms is another problem, yeah.
And we're biased because we work there, so.
okay, so we want to keep the same type of, want to contact school construction authority for a status on.
Yeah,
Now with this.
Yeah, I wanna know if there's like funding, cause I know they have been getting done slowly, but
I thought they were supposed to be done,
well, we've been open during the summer, that might be part of
and
that.
that's true. They did the cafeteria.
Yeah, I was in there.
Yeah.
And then the last capital request, replace school hallway doors at Lexington
That's
Academy.
funded.
That's
That's
done.
funded, all right, perfect.
Yeah, we kept it on because it was still, but. And again, those principals that came here, those are projects.
That's the thing, and that's why we need to connect with the schools more, because to be honest, we don't know what's going on in school unless they come to us.
So,
Yeah,
okay, so we just have 5.
yeah,
Additional funding should be allocated to employ additional social workers to not only provide therapeutic services, but to also provide evidence-based groups, case management services. DOE, please contact the agency directly and profit for more information.
I say yes, just because we still have an influx of the newest New Yorkers coming in within our district.
Sure. Okay, so I would say, that's okay, keep that, and then I would.
Once again,
Just maybe wanna,
interrupt me if,
Right,
yeah,
and it's something in support of.
I would,
I wanna say maybe try to be more specific as possible, see if DOE has like particular programs geared towards mental health or, any other services that might, benefit from, acquiring like a DOE grant or a DOH grant for mental health
Dr.
services.
Christie still on, so I have a quick question for her regarding that.
Yes, doctor, please, help.
Dr. Christie,
Yes.
is there any way we could get the amount of social workers within each and every school?
It's increased.
So, I could definitely get that information. All of our schools have either a school counselor or a social worker. They have a minimum of 1. However, the numbers are, that's from like their budget. And then, the majority of our schools, the numbers will be skewed because we have, CBOs that also provide
Yes.
additional, social workers. And then we also have mental health clinics that provide additional social workers and interns. So I just want to share that I can give a number, but just know that I might fluctuate. I could also, if you want to invite, I have a supervisor of social work, Azim Karamati, on my team, who works closely with all of our social workers in the districts, both in the CBOs and at the school level.
Quick follow-up question.
Mhm.
I know that there's a specific caseload number for each professional. Do we know? Like, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, because we can have like a counselor in every school, but if there's the need.
Well,
Like-
it's not the same way, because I believe you asked this question last year. And I did look into it. There isn't like, how like teachers have, like, if you have this many, you can only have a caseload with a certain number. It's not like the state requirements aren't, they have like recommendations, but it's not like, New York City school funding, the funding equation doesn't say if you have this many students, you're getting this allocation of money. So I just want to say that the way our funding works, it's not that way. It's like an E&L provider.
Yeah,
Right,
I wasn't
so like-
necessarily asking for funding reasons. I was asking just because if there's one counselor overseeing.
There could be
50
one
kids.
counselor for 300 students. Like,
Yes.
I can be quite honest, when I was a principal, I had over 300 plus students and only one counselor. So there is no mandate. I don't know if I
It's
just want
less
to share there is
advocating
no
on that.
mandate. I mean, Our schools actually have, I can tell you right now that in our East Harlem schools, all of our schools have at least one, and our larger schools have a lot more people, whether it's CBOs or on staff. And I can connect with Azim Karamati to get more of an up-to-date number.
Yeah.
A lot of our schools have more. The one thing that I will tell you about state law would prefer that every school has a school counselor versus a social worker. So there is a difference between a school counselor and a social worker in our schools. But there's a difference between state law and city.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to get on you, I was just curious.
Oh, no. I think it's a great question. I mean, I will tell you what's happened in the past is that we received more funding, and what happened was that we took a lot of social workers from the CBOs. And so what we have faced in East Harlem is a lot of our CBOs have vacancies for social workers, and it's because they could get paid more money with New York City Public Schools than they could with a community-based organization. So that's what happened, at least since I've been superintendent. I can tell you that we have hired a lot of social workers from CBOs in our schools. And so as a result, we've been partnering with our CBOs and universities to how we can increase the pipeline for social workers in our schools.
David, you could go.
Yeah, I think also this weighs on a greater societal issue, and that's more mental health for everybody, adults and children, right? And I think it's unfair to also put the DOE and the schools in a greater position to deal with that particular societal concern and issue. I mean, these are some of the things that are going on now publicly about getting more money and advocacy money for people with mental health who need services. And acknowledging that we're still coming out of COVID and the effects of young people that experience a lack of socialization is gonna impact our schools. So, you know, and as Dr. Christie indicated, there is also so many different levels of mental health that social workers do or counselors do, and that we need it all, right? And how is it best to get it all, whether through DOE, through CBOs, but we know more is needed to support the mental health and emotional needs of our young people. And I'll just say that.
So are we all in agreement of keeping this, but maybe when we do the ranking, rank it a little bit differently than we did last time?
And I would maybe suggest maybe getting Dr. Christie's advice on how we
Yeah.
can tailor this. For
Yeah, I was about to ask, how, Dr. Christie, do you know the best way that we should work this?
Or we can send it in an email and you
Yeah.
can help us tailor
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. If you want to send me this in an email, I can also help as well to get the information. I was gonna say that, like, for all the facility updates, I have Michael Siciana who can give you the most updated stuff. And that's even inclusive of SCA. We actually just met today about all of our buildings and updates. And whereas SCA, like, I use him as my liaison with the school construction authority. So he really does have a pulse of everything that's going on. And I also.
And he knows the district better, right? I mean, this is his area, right?
Yes, he's who helps me also with the community education council. Like, I just want to be very transparent that, like, he helps me with all of the facility and school construction needs. And I know he would be very supportive, and I can either connect you to him directly. So, like, if you want to connect with him directly, or if I can be used to help him update or provide an update, I can do whatever you think is best. But I was gonna actually offer that.
Yeah.
Or I can cross it, reference with the leaders, whatever you think, because I know that you said you have an October deadline.
Yes.
So I just want to support in that. I would also encourage October 24th, we have our legislative breakfast. And if the community board could be at the legislative breakfast, it's going to be at Manhattan Science Center.
Repeat the date again.
October 24th, it's a Thursday. And it starts at 9 o'clock. But if you get there at any point in the day, I could make time or space. But the morning's really when we have all of our principals, UFT chapter leaders, our president, council, presidents and our parent coordinators there. And so you could really get the message out about the community board. I know Xavier has come in the past. But also you can hear the proposal. I mean, I think it's just a great way to spread more information about Community Board 11 and also inviting schools to have their students present. I will continue to message as well. I meet with all of the student councils, so I will invite you to those advisory meetings as well when I meet with all of the student councils to where you can connect, because I've learned about CB. I've learned so much from you guys, so.
I will try to be there. If not, David will be there.
Dr. Delacruz, could you repeat the location, please?
Manhattan Science Center, it's on 100 and like the corner of 116th and Pleasant Avenue across from the East Harlem River, across from Costco.
Costco.
It's nice you're doing
That's
it there this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing it. So I just want to be clear. The reason we're having it at Manhattan Science Center is because it's handicap accessible and they have space for us. We used to have events at the Boys Club, and the Boys Club does not have a ramp, and we have members in our community who need to have accessible buildings and spaces.
All right, thank you, Dr. Christie. So we're gonna continue on to the next one. We're almost done, Dr. Christie, so if you're able to stay for a couple more minutes, just in case anything else pops up, that'll be appreciated. Who raised their hand? I cannot see.
It
who
was
raised-
me accidentally. I put it down. I'm here. I'm here and I'm staying on. It was me an accident. It was accident.
Okay, so, we just have like 4 or 5 more, so I'm just gonna go through them. My recommendations for the rest are pretty much removed. Full funding to allow for a summer youth employment program. DYCD has increased funding in this service area, as they suggested, so I don't know if you guys wanna keep this, or you wanna remove this, or provide this for something a little bit more specific.
From what I heard, most people were able to get into, if they chose to work in East Harlem last year, they were able to get into East Harlem.
Okay, so if we don't find that there is a need, then we can.
Well, work, learn, and grow, they said increase funding.
See, I think again, this is where we get caught up with
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, I just.
So
read
once
it.
you say SYEP, right, and then maybe we need to remove SYEP and put more work, learn and grow funding. Cause work, learn and grow is during the school year that they give money for internships. But it's at such a lower percentage than what they give during summer youth. So like, for instance, agency I work with gets 300 slots in summer youth, right? And during work, learn and grow, we get 300 slots. That's 10% of what we serve. So we're asking to expand the work, learn and grow program that occurs during the school year. It has nothing to do with the school, so maybe we should even take out the school year, but it's the school year that work, learn and grow works for, right? And kids get paid the same way that they get paid, it's just far less hours. I think it's 10 hours a week they get,
It was
as opposed to
15.
25, right?
15.
But it still helps.
It was 15,
So-
I think, when I did it.
Let's remove SYP from it, because I think we get caught up and they see, oh, we find, every year we go up in SYP. Well, we don't go up and work, learn and grow.
And also work, learn, and grow, there's a lot less slots in East Harlem. That's another thing, yeah.
And those are specific for teenagers. Adolescents. Like the colors.
Color coded for.
Yeah. Easy access.
You know, a little bit of, learning. Okay, so, we'll have this revised request, and then before we convene in October, we'll vote.
Yeah, I'll go in and
Okay,
revise it, I'll
yes.
go in and revise it.
Okay, good. Next one.
You and I are gonna go.
My goal is to do less.
Almost there. Restore city council during discretionary funding and payroll funding for after school, elementary school slots because funding has been removed. They're saying DYCD has increased funding in the service area. You wanna keep this? And-
I would like to keep it,
Okay.
and maybe also, do we have a English, Do we have a specific, this might be a new one, is increase, 3K slots, like 3K after school?
We can,
That might have to be.
Well, it's not even the increase, it's create
Create.
funding for it. Right, Dr. Christie? I know you've been trying to get 3K funding for after school.
So, yes, part of it's been, create funding. We try to write a grant with Springboard. Springboard, we have expanded it to some of our schools. So some of it was getting funding, but then also the only workaround we've been able to do is to get funding and have our own teachers work with the students. So I just want to be very transparent about that caveat, because some of our schools, it is hard to get people to work. Mhm. And not because they don't want to, but because of life, right? Like sometimes they're like, I have to take care of my own children. We do, yeah. So I just wanted to say, yes, funding is one issue, and another issue is having people work, because as you mentioned, David, earlier, there's a lot of restrictions around people working with children below school age, which is considered kindergarten.
So, and don't forget, you can use the budget request, the budget reference on the third sheet to craft a new language. Right,
Yeah.
correct. And then just, insert another row and then fill it down here, okay? And just make sure you highlight, new requests. Here, okay, when you're doing that.
Alright, let's, get through the last like 4, because we're almost there.
Yeah, 3, so.
3,
yeah,
okay.
yes. Targeted funding for increased educational support, professional development, career readiness support for justice involved, adjudicated youth aged 13 through 18 in East Harlem.
I say based on the survey, keep it,
Okay, no problem.
because that was the #1 thing, right? At-risk youth.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then just maybe tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, and also say that the community acknowledges that this remains
Yes.
a challenge in our community.
Next one, increase the amount of after schools program seats for high school age youth in East Harlem with a focus on social emotional learning. OMB, presently there are a variety of agency funded programs in the district for this target population. Additional programs are contingent on funding, really distributed through an RFP process. Essentially, there are grant RFP programs that are available and they're encouraged to apply. And the URCD wouldn't do anything further.
I would say we want to advocate more right now for the work, learn and grow, because
Yeah,
there are programs out there, we always want more, and more teams would benefit, but
Okay.
yeah.
I think if we can.
It's
remove
more
that
like if
priority.
they're getting paid than if they're not.
Okay.
So that would be removed, right?
Well, I have here, keep unless you want to revise and.
I say remove it because. We
Let's
need
put
to,
more emphasis on the
Yeah.
job program, right?
Okay.
Sorry, we can come back to that.
And then the final request, increased funding should be allocated to employ additional youth in the work, learn and grow program during the 10 months of the school year.
Oh, so we have,
So that technically is a duplicate, right?
so take out the first one,
yeah,
and yeah.
keep that on.
What was their response on the bottom? I'm sorry.
For which one?
No, the last one.
The last one, DYCD has increased funding in the service areas. It's the same one as up here, so
Right.
let's put here duplicate. Okay, so so you want to keep this one, but you said you might want to tailor it or just keep it as is?
Maybe
I think
tailor.
we just maybe add a little bit more beef to it,
Okay.
Who's thing I said I was gonna add?
Beef.
No, the new request.
What'd you say?
That's okay. I'm losing my mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for right now, and I'm gonna sure you guys have access to this document, so you can
Yeah.
just go through it.
So please, everyone look through this before next month. I'm gonna be trying to finish it
Right, and then
in
by
the
the,
next like week, so you all have like 3 weeks to look at it.
right,
So we have to vote
I'm
on.
sorry, I'm new to this. So do we go in and then we just read through, we just went over a soft review. Do we make any changes?
You could read through,
If there's anything you think that
Wanna
should be
add
added.
or, okay.
like send it to me and I can add it.
Okay,
Or I think there's a notes section also.
okay.
you can create comments.
Yeah.
This is all.
Comments, yeah.
It's a
all-
short document, okay.
Yes, you're all editors in
And-
this document.
Okay.
Just please don't destroy it. for
Right,
all
of course.
And if there's
Yeah, open
If
it
there's
up
any
and slash.
suggestions for new ones, send it to me,
And
and then we'll discuss it next meeting when we're gonna go.
I'm sure Angel has retrieved that already.
It's okay. And then by next month, of course, you wanna consider your recommended ranking for each one, so. We'll do
Okay,
that for next month, okay?
okay.
And then we rank everything combined with all the
Right,
committees.
okay.
Yes. And
And Parks usually gets the most.
they might be reviewing, they might be condensing there, so,
This year, we haven't had many schools come to us, so that's what we need to focus on this year, cause it will make this a lot more
Robust and
next year.
for
Yeah.
2026.
okay.
That
So,
makes sense.
so that's it for now, and then, in October, we'll finalize and then, as a committee vote, your recommendation or request, and we'll forward that over to the district needs and budgets committee for them to finalize. Yes.
Thank you.
Alright. Everyone okay with that? Everyone can live with that?
Yeah.
Alright. So, gonna go back to the presentation, finish this out. We
Thank you,
can,
Dr. Christie.
thank you, Dr. Chris.
See you tomorrow.
She's eating her dinner.
I have a snack. It's all good. It's all good. You guys are there too. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, CC, I was like, see her tomorrow, like CC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
That's weird.
I have the kid going down.
I know.
All right, so that's it for this section there, Ashley?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm
We
moving
go.
forward.
any old business? Alright, new business. CB11M representation for New York Academy of Medicine, Youth-Led Nonviolence Summit, panel theme to develop a youth-driven plan of action to reduce community. What exactly will this entail?
So essentially, this panel, or this non-violent summit is occurring in October 10th or 12th, I don't have the date right now. And they have been asking for the youth and education representation, or CB11 representation. The panel that we would be sitting on would be like the second or third panel with this theme to develop a youth-driven plan of action to reduce community violence. They did provide us with a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Like for them, let me see if I can find out really quick and I can maybe.
I'm gonna be straight up with you, that's when I work, so I will not be able to be there.
No worries, if anyone here,
I
Yeah,
could probably make it.
I've already said that I would be in attendance, but it would help to, get,
yeah,
I'll forward the questions and it'd be helpful to get, your, as a committee, suggestions and thoughts on an answer, so I don't go over there and,
all of these things are right.
What day of the week is it?
I believe it's Thursday, give me one second, see if I can find.
Tenth is
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday, yeah, and the 12th will be a Saturday, so I don't think it's.
Give me one second, so I can try and see if I can.
They've collaborated with us.
Yeah, they have been very, yeah,
A lot of the things they work on.
Okay, so 10:45 to 11:45 would be, this panel section
Oh, I see
here,
one.
and. From this document here, I'm gonna tell you right now, so. 3 questions to be posted to the panelists to develop a youth-driven plan of action to reduce community violence. Actually, there aren't any. Examples of questions. I thought they did have one. Huh. Wait, give me one second. I could have sworn, because I was actually trying to read. Their results for this survey or their research. I can forward those questions later. I'm pretty sure we did get them, and I know I was trying to work on it too, to try to have some preliminary response. There's a lot of stuff I have.
you said the 10th,
Sorry. Let me double check. October 10th, yes.
give me a second. Hey, no,
Oh, and these are the questions, so I'll be sure to forward it to you guys, how will the results of the IAACT survey at the Heritage School help you in making our community safer? Like I said, they conducted research and they have a whole, journal paper or article and, slides to, of course, summarize their research, so I can make sure you have.
yeah, I was
access to that
gonna
as
say,
well.
could you send all of that to the committee, and if
Yes.
someone could let us know by. a week from today, if they could show up.
That'd be helpful, yeah.
That would be, yeah, that would be
That should be
appreciated,
right.
we could give them, yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
they have a couple of weeks to plan.
yes, and that was the first question. Second question, how can your organization help develop policies that would impact students given our daily experiences? Referring of course to that research. And the third question, how do I as a young person retain hope? So I'll make sure you all have those questions and any suggestions for responses would be helpful. And you know, whoever is able to participate, so I said I would volunteer and I'll commit to that. But if we can have, you know, one or two, that'd be helpful and
Yeah,
that's basically it.
alright, so please, what's today?
Good time.
Let me know by the 17th or the 18th. So that way Khalid and I could contact them. I can't make it unfortunately, so I hope that someone else can.
No worries. And the time frame again is,
Yeah, I have class.
it might be 10:45. Let me just double check. 10:45 to 11:45.
Oh,
I'm good.
Okay,
there's Dave.
excellent.
Alright. Alright,
That's it for
any
me.
other new business? Nope. Alright. Alright, you could call the roll. Oh, I just realized we don't have forum because Jen left.
Oh, but we haven't made any
Okay.
motions or anything.
I was like, I got scared for a minute, I was like,
No,
We're not starting.
no, not like that. I need to go to sleep.
We don't have
All
four.
right, David Giordano,
President.
Don Green. Here. Sally Johnson is absent, Jill Jones excused, Malik McCullough, absent, Jennifer Meyer. Asha Rodriguez.
Present.
Isaac Scott. President. Russell. Lita Chickambood, absent, Justina Williams, absent, Monique Wolfall.
Here.
Thank you.
Alright, meeting is adjourned at 8:11.
Oh, yeah, I can get back if
I'm saying there's other stuff going on tonight, that's all.
I know, I gotta go.
I have a bingo card.